Erev Tov. The parshas of Tazria and Metzora are understood under many different levels because they're very difficult parshas to understand. Certainly, they are a strange subject to us. The Rambam says that it's an Inyan Zor. That's the lashon of the Rambam. The Rambam uses this as an idea for all the dinim of Yoledes. Woman gives birth, so the halacha is that she has to bring a korban. She has to bring an olah and a chatos. The Torah will describe that if it's a woman of means, so she brings a keves, a sheep, a ram for the korban olah, and she brings birds for the korban chatas. If she is not wealthy and she's not able to board a sheep, so then she brings two races, two sets of birds, one for an olah, one for a chatas. There's a whole Masechta in Mishnayos called Kinim, which is the last Masechta in Seder Kochim, that discusses all of these halachas. And the last Mishnah in Kinim discusses very complicated halachas, where the birds gets mixed up, and the Kohen doesn't know what he brought, what he doesn't bring. And the Mishnah makes an entire set there that she can end up bringing 7 birds, and according to Ben Azai, she'll bring 8 birds, depending on the confusion that arises from the korban that she brings. So there's a basic question that the thinkers of the Jewish people, you see it in many aspects. What is she bringing the korban for? What's the korban chatos? What did she sin? So the Gemara says that because in the pain of childbirth, she may have uttered a vow not to have children, etc. You know, we would have thought if we were the ones that were arranging all of this, that she would bring the korban toda. She's bringing life into the world, continuity, family. And she has survived the rigors of pregnancy and childbirth. Instead, the Torah gives her a korban olah and a korban chatas. And there's a second issue here, right at the beginning of the parsha. Isha kisazriya v'yolda zocher v'toma. She becomes Tomei. How do you become Tomei when you bring life into the world? We understand the concept of tumas mess. Heard from the Satmarov. A Jew came to him and he said he's going to give him 100 times chai. So the Rav said, you can give me 100 times mess. Well, mess is 440, right? The chai is only 18. In any event, but if she's bringing life into the world, what's the idea of the tumor here? And it's not a regular tumor. For instance, by a tumor snida, we say that the tumor comes because of the flow of blood, the menstrual blood. But here, she's tummy 7 days, and then even if she keeps on bleeding, she's taller for 33 days, or 14 or 66 for Nekeva. So obviously it has nothing to do with that. It's a different status completely. So there are many ideas that were expressed here. But one of them is that at the moment we bring life into this world, we don't know what's going to be here. All of the women in the world that gave birth to monstrous people, they didn't, Hitler's mother didn't intend him to be Hitler. And Stalin's mother certainly didn't intend him to be Stalin. She wanted him to be a Christian priest. And kahena v'chahena v'chahena. So when a child is born, you don't know what's going to be, which is in itself the entire challenge of life. Life is tahara, and it's also tumah. It's chayim, and it's also mavis. It's mitzvah, and it's aveira. These are constant challenges, constant choices that are made. And that really, the Meforshim say that by Chava it said, Be'etzev told the bonim. So the etzev, the sadness, it's not just the physical pain. It's the fact that we don't know what's going to be here. Who knows how it's going to turn out? So therefore, the Torah immediately introduces us to the idea of Tumah and Tahara, so that we are aware from the beginning of the different choices in life, of the different challenges in life. The fact that nothing is predictable. And that therefore, this idea of the Tumah and Tahara and of the korbanot that a yoledet has to bring, so those are mitzvahs that have to be done, but they represent something. They represent, so to speak, the mystery of human existence. The Gemara says that when a child is born, its genetic makeup is set. We know that we have a certain DNA that programs us. So when the child is born, we can already know how tall or how short. We can even under many circumstances, estimate correctly life expectancy, proclivity to certain diseases, God forbid, immunities. All of that is built into us. The color of our eyes, our physical prowess. But tzaddik v'rosha is not built into us. That's what the Gemara says. There's no gene for that. It doesn't exist on the DNA. And that's the thing that's left us. What kind of person each and every one of us is and will be and wants to be.
How come they say before birth he wants to go to another?
I tell you a rule, my dear friend Uri, that you never ask a kasha from a medrash. You cannot take the medrash. Rashi quotes the medrash to give us an insight, but you can't ask a kasha from a medrash. Because if you could, then the Torah doesn't make sense, because there's 100 midrashim that contradict each other. So we have to leave the midrashim. The midrashim are for Shabbos morning. This is a different understanding, I hope. And by the way, just to deal with that medrash, a person has natural proclivities. There are people who find it easier to be a tzaddik than other people. Depends the environment that you're born in, depends on your physical. It's not 50-50. Esav is, he's too big, right? He's red, his physical thing already pushes him. So Esav would require a greater amount to be able to withstand it. He could have, but he didn't. I knew a Yerushalmi Jew. He stayed in our house during the war. He was stuck in America. He was so physically powerful that he could rip a Chicago telephone book with one hand. But he sat and learned the whole time. He could have been an enforcer for the mafia. So Esav has a proclivity, we'll agree to that. But it doesn't say whether he's going to be a tzaddik or a Rosh. So that's the idea of the korbanos that she brings. And that's the idea of the Tumah and Tahara that she is involved in. Because that's basically the struggle of life. The struggle of life is Tumah and Tahara. The struggle of life is korbanos, what we're willing to sacrifice for what purpose. Because without korbanos, life doesn't exist. So these are ideas that are expressed in the parsha, layered into all of the halachos which exist in order to give us some sort of insight into what the Rambam calls something that's zor, that's strange to us, that's foreign to us. But the Torah is never foreign to us. It always comes to teach us something and to raise us to a good level. Yashikol Uri for your question. Rabbi Chananya ben Akash Omer Rotza Kodesh Baruch Hu V'Zakos says Yisrael L'Fichach Chir B'Layim Torah and Mitzvot Shenamar Adonai Chavei Tzaman Tzidko Yagdil Torah V'Yadil.